Nightwing issue 17, written by Tim Seeley and art by Xavier Fernandez. But no, this was a great issue. This is Dick and Damien. They're going to the location in France that was hinted at with the clue that was left behind on Dick's Robin Hood book. And there's some great stuff early on where Dick's like, "Oh, you're planning to be your own Batman. You're essentially the Batman of Bloodhaven." He's
such a little shit.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna franchise yourself.
He's still been a jealous little shit. But this issue was great for multiple reasons. It was great because we got to Deathwing when they got to this church, this monastery kind of thing in France, and now here's where I want to bring up. Right, so he's in Nightwing's New 52 outfit in red. I just want to point out New 52 outfit red, Rebirth outfit blue and red. I don't think there's maybe an intentional thing there. Although there's one thing in this issue that kind of maybe does tie it a little bit closer. But thematically, I just like, that's kind of neat. Like the good ones in blue, the bad ones in red.
Hard not to notice, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just a nice little touch. But of course, he fights Deathwing, and when he gets hit really badly and he gets cut across the head, he has this weird moment where he hallucinates and he sees himself. Stuff. Yeah, he sees like multiple versions of himself, which we've seen before, at least some of them. I don't personally recognise all of them, but I'm assuming they've all popped up in various iterations of Dick Grayson in Elseworlds and whatever. And it's like, oh, this is interesting. Because obviously I'm already thinking the red and blue thing, and I'm like, wait, is this like hinting that these villains are somehow like multiverse-y, timeline-y things? And then when Damien actually gets trapped in a crypt, which by the way,
tomb.
It harkens back to the flashback at the start of the issue, which was when him and they two were working as Batman and Robin, which was really cool, by the way. Great to have that back, and the Batmobile obviously as well. But first of all, I love that Damien gets out of the tomb by using his head, and when he gets out of the tomb, he's actually got a bloody head. He's actually bashed his way out of the tomb with his head.
I love that he also thought of it because Dick called him hard-headed. He's like, hey, he's right.
Yeah, and then he goes up to Dick.
He looks slightly dazed too in the art, like he's wobbly.
Oh yeah, that was great. The art sells it perfectly. But he comes up to Dick, and then Dick's still got this sort of like, his pupils are all black, like he's been all black-eyed, and he looks up at Damien, and he sees the same thing for Damien, where he sees all the different versions of Damien, including like the Elseworld, Grant Morrison's future Damien when he's Batman one, and what he used to look like, and then another one. I didn't quite recognise the other one, but
one of them's much older. It's kind of Nightwing-esque, actually.
It does look Nightwing, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's like he takes inspiration from Dick because that's who he looks up to more.
Yeah. Well, this is part of why I love this issue so much. Is he sees this, and then Damien is like scared that he's losing Nightwing. He's like, "Hey, you're the Batman to my Robin. We were great together, and I don't want to lose you. You're having this kid, and you're not going to have any need for me." It almost mirrors Mixie and John kind of thing from Superman.
It does. Yeah.
Well, that is his big brother. Yeah. Like he doesn't want him to forget. Like, hey, I was here first, but I'm your favorite brother.
It's just, it's so simple. It's like he's been a jealous little shit, and it all boils down to, no, he's worried about he's going to lose. He's not going to be special to Dick anymore. He actually likes the relationship. And it's a moment where Damien finally breaks down his walls, and he shows some emotion, and he shows some honesty and compassion. And honestly, it hit me right in the feels. It's just, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, who's he going to play Cheese Viking with?
It's a good question.
John will be into it.
I don't know.
Dick's kid will grow up and Damien will still want to play.
We also get the idea of Uncle Damien now and being like, well, we can't have Damien babysit because no sword practice, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing I want to see now that you just mentioned John. I need to see Grayson and John interacting. Because again, I feel like Grayson is the uncle of a whole generation of young heroes. He's the keystone.
Do you know how I can see that happen? I can see it happen in Super Sons. Much like Damien sort of guest starring for an arc in this, I can see Dick guest starring for an arc in Super Sons, and that'll be how he meets John for the first time. And
you can see Damien going, hey Dick, do you want to help me out with something? But he's not going to go to Bruce for it, is he?
Yeah.
Right.
No, because his whole Damien's whole life, he wants to prove that he is capable on his own, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's like, I really need something.
So you go get your cool older brother.
Exactly.
Right? You need to borrow the car. You don't ask mom and dad. You be like, hey, can you ask mom and dad to borrow the car for me?
It's just like, hey, older brother, go buy me some beer.
Yeah, or that too.
What it is.
And what if Dick actually is the one who explains to John what Nightwing comes from? Like, he's like, yeah, do you know where I get my name from? Yeah, well, here's some history about Krypton for you.
Yeah, that would be cool if you had John kind of take over the Nightwing role in like an alternate, future.
Like a circle round.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually really want this kid to happen, and not to just to be a cruel swerve. As much as you want it with Babs, I love the idea of him being a dad and the story time, potential for all that.
He can have a dad and still, not be exclusive. Like, you know what I mean?
So, are you saying maybe he gets the kid and then Sean dies anyway?
No, not Sean dies, but like, sure, this whole romance is kind of a whirlwind thing, and stuff happens, and they could still raise the kid together, but they don't have to be together. Like, it's 2017. You don't, she's knocked up. You don't gotta put a ring on it automatically.
They probably would have done anyway at this point.
Well, yeah. So, I'm just saying, I might be a little too progressive, and being that I come personally from a situation like that, and it didn't end up well, like, you kind of want to see it represented a little bit. So, and Dick's the perfect, again, he's the keystone to the DC universe, as we learned in Infinite Crisis. And
now, I've hit on what the first reason why this issue is great is Damian, and Damian like pleading for Dick because he doesn't want to lose Dick, and also the timey-wimey seeing alternate versions of himself and whatnot. But then the other thing that makes this issue great is they realise what these things... Because this, not only do we have this Deathwing, we have another Robin shows up, who's kind of like akin to Deathwing. Even though he's fighting Deathwing, he seems to be more on their side. But they realise what these are. They're Deltrons. Yeah. And this all ties into... This is why we have Dick and Damian together, because as Dick even says towards the end, I realise who this is. This is the sickest villain that me and Damian ever fought together. And then the last page, Professor Pig. Get in.
Yep.
Love it.
And it all, like, we knew Pig was coming because of solicits, but it didn't dawn on me.
You didn't see it happening in this way, did you?
Yeah.
No. And as soon as I said Dollotron, I went, Dollmaker? Wait, no, I know Dollotron. Dollotron's not Dollmaker.
I did the same thing.
Turn the page, and it's like, oh yeah, Professor Pig.
Yeah. I love Professor Pig. Professor Pig's, I think he was the first villain in the Batman and Robin series with
the Dick and Damian.
Dick and Damian, yeah. And I just remember thinking, oh, this is such a cool new villain. Like, it was just a cool idea, and he's like so psychotic. It was great. And then
rarely utilised since.
Really utilised since, but I am really excited they're doing this again. I'm glad that they've got Damian back with Dick, and I'm glad that they're treating him like, yeah, he was Batman at the time, but he's more of a Dick villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's someone that Dick will fight rather than Bruce, and I think that's pretty cool. So, and I'm excited for Professor Pig. I think he's great. He's got Sean, and he's getting ready to rip out her insides and make a
It was a relief to see Sean there, and that she's not fridged.
She's still alive.
Yeah.
She's still alive for now.
There's still something to save at this point.
But yeah, it's and I think that's a clear distinction, because even if she doesn't make it, it's more than him just finding the body, and she only served that purpose to create a false emotional. Here, the emotion's real, because now we've gone on it, and Damian's involved, and there's more to it than just...
Here's the question, though. So, Professor Pig made these Dolotrons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they know so much about him? Why does this Deathwing have all this information to this extent where... Does Pig know who he is? But then why is Pig giving Dick hallucinations of alternate versions of himself? Is Professor Pig now, in his method of making these things, is he doing something else with them that does actually somehow tie into Rebirth shenanigans?
See, for some of it, I'd say, how much could he have just learned from torturing Sean? But obviously, the alternate versions doesn't line up with that. Yeah.
No, and why is Dick seeing the alternate versions? It's not like Damian saw them. Yeah, it's only Dick.
And why is the fake Robin, the Dollatron Robin, still having the same, oh, you're what to be Batman Deathwing, same attitude as Damian is? It's actually matching his personality to a degree.
Which I thought was weird, because it was clearly Dick Grayson's Robin outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pixie shorts.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
which obviously, which would be how Sean would have known the outfit
True.
originally.
Yeah.
True. True.
Maybe he is taking information from Sean, like in a weird kind of like, I don't know, not mind reading, but like like downloading the memories or something into the Dollatrons.
I didn't think about that till now. That's Dick fighting with himself over who he is.
Oh yeah,
that's Robin saying
that was why
you're trying to be Batman. You're not Batman.
Yeah, this was why I went back to the red and blue thing. Is because even as he's fighting him and he's saying all these things, Dick even says this is like the darker side of my personality unhinged. You know, it's like it's the ultimate red kryptonite version of me. And I'm like going back to the red and blue. That's kind of what it's like, splitting them up, and it's like so. It was, even if it doesn't actually have a concrete connection to Rebirth stuff, it's still thematically very neatly tying in.
Very aptly timed, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. So very, very good stuff in that front, and intriguing. Like the Visions obviously is the most intriguing part. Like what caused the Visions? Why are the Dollatrons causing the Visions? Is this because, like, let's just say for argument's sake, is this because whatever happens that merges the Supermans, as it happens, it causes this? Like maybe around the DCU, and they all have these weird things where things merge and they see things.
Yeah, maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it has nothing to do with the Dollatrons in general.
Yeah, exactly. Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you could argue it's just because he gets hard in the head. You could argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's interesting. So, mystery, great villain revealed at the end, who I love to come back. Great character stuff with Damien and Dick. All of it. This was great. Loved it. Favorite issue of the arc. Probably one of my favorite issues of Nightwing in this run so far.
Yeah.